Welcome to this explainer on Silvercore.io's growth strategies. I'm Sarah, and today we're zeroing in on an absolutely pivotal moment for your senior care business. We're talking about the mid-year marketing audit. You know, we are exactly halfway through 2026, and June, well, it isn't just another month on the calendar. It's literally the ultimate turning point. That's going to determine whether the second half of your year completely outpaces the first or kind of just falls flat. But here's the thing. Most senior care businesses hit this midpoint missing a vital piece of the puzzle. It's this massive gap in their data that secretly dictates every single forward move they make. So, I want to break the fourth wall for a second and challenge you with a really specific question. I want you to actually sit with this for a moment. You're 6 months into 2026. You've had inquiries pouring in, right? You've spent your hard-earned money on marketing. Maybe that's directory listings, some paid ads, or building out referral partners. And yes, absolutely, some of those inquiries actually became clients. But here is the highly specific question you need to be able to answer. Which exact marketing activity produced which specific client? Think about it. Not which channel got you website traffic, not which campaign made your phone ring. Which specific investment is actually responsible for the clients who sat down and signed the paperwork in the first half of this year? Okay, let's dive into this, because if you're sitting there right now feeling a little bit uneasy, please know you're definitely not alone. For the vast majority of senior care businesses I talk to, the genuine, totally honest answer to that question is simply, I don't know. And honestly, as a leader in this space, I completely understand why you're forced to give that answer. It's not a lack of effort on your part, not at all. The specific data connecting your hard-earned dollars spent to your signed clients actually exists. The real issue? The bridge connecting those two things simply hasn't been built yet. To really understand why this happens, we have to look at a massive structural disconnect. In most businesses, your inquiry logs and your marketing metrics, they're basically sitting over in their own little silos. Meanwhile, your finalized client records are living out in a completely separate database. You've got your inquiries totally isolated from your admitted clients. The link between these critical datasets has literally never been formalized. It's like having two halves of a treasure map that you've never put together, creating a really costly missing link that just leaves your whole business guessing. And when that huge disconnect exists, it leads directly into a super dangerous trap. Think about it. When you don't have the hard facts about which marketing activity actually produces clients, what do? Well, you naturally default to making decisions based on feelings. You end up blindly renewing that wildly expensive directory listing just because the phone calls you get from it, well, they feel familiar. Or you keep pouring hours into a social media presence because all those likes look really strong. Or even worse, you cut a referral partner nurture sequence just because the immediate return isn't flashing bright green on your analytics dashboard. Bottom line, you're spending real dollars based purely on intuition. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why that's so risky. When we finally pull the curtain back, the hard data tells a totally different story. What if that directory listing you keep renewing based on a gut feeling is only converting at, say, 4%? Meanwhile, that referral partner channel you might have been neglecting, it's actually converting at a massive 24%. And what about that automated email follow-up sequence you almost cut because it felt kind of invisible? What if that's quietly responsible for a staggering 30% of your actual conversions? Without tracking your conversion data strictly by channel, you are basically flying blind to these realities. Now, this brings us straight to the immediate danger for your wallet. If you don't close this data gap right now, the absolutely critical budget decisions you're about to make for Q3 and Q4 are at massive risk. Seriously, you'll be allocating thousands of dollars based on the exact same imperfect intuition that shaped the first half of your year. You are going to be starving your most profitable channels while feeding the ones that honestly just give the illusion of productivity. So the crucial point is we need to fix this. And this is where we introduce your primary corrective tool, the mid-year audit. Using 6 months of data is the absolute perfect sample size. It's enough time to see real, undeniable patterns, and enough data to identify exactly which channels and process steps are actually putting signed clients into your care. It's the exact accessible solution you need to immediately course correct your forward strategy. Okay, I want to get highly prescriptive here for a second. This absolutely does not have to be some dreadful multi-month corporate project. It's actually a rapid, totally actionable 3-step process. Step 1, pull your entire inquiry log from the first half of the year. Step 2, cross-reference every single name on that log with your signed client records. And Step 3, connect the source data to see where those overlapping names originally came from. If you just do this, you will instantly reveal your true conversion rate by channel. And trust me, that is the single number that changes absolutely every marketing decision you make from here on out. Let's move to and see how this builds, because this audit, it isn't just a defensive measure to, fix your future spending. Oh no, it is a highly aggressive offensive strategy. When you finally map out this data, you aren't just looking forward anymore. You are unlocking an incredible backward opportunity to recover massive amounts of trapped revenue from the leads you have already paid for. Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer size of your unconverted leads. Honestly, it might shock you. In our practice, we regularly find that senior care businesses have anywhere from 20 to 40% of their Q1 and Q2 inquiries literally just sitting there, completely dormant and unconverted. These are families who reached out, they expressed genuine interest in your care, and then they just went quiet. This is absolute hidden treasure sitting right there inside your existing database. You really have to remember that in senior care, the decision cycle can be incredibly, incredibly long. These families haven't necessarily chosen a competitor. A lot of them are simply still evaluating their options. They're frozen by how overwhelming this whole process is. A single, well-timed, empathetic, and warm outreach from your team can reactivate a hugely meaningful portion of this trapped revenue. You don't always need to go out and buy new leads to hit your Q3 goals. You just need to reactivate the ones currently collecting dust. When you bring all of this together before Q3 even begins, you finally get the full picture. You get to see your true conversion rate by channel, you can spot exactly where your team's follow-up gaps are, you actually understand true channel performance, and you identify immediate lead recovery opportunities. This is the exact data framework we build with our partners at silvercore.io, making absolutely sure that every single marketing dollar is deployed with total accuracy. Getting your conversion data in line is definitely step one to ensuring the second half of 2026 is your absolute best yet. But as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one really stark thought about the single most preventable revenue leak in the entire senior care industry. So what happens to the calls that come in and just completely disappear because no one was available to answer? Think about all that revenue just vanishing into thin air before it ever even makes it onto an inquiry log. We'll be breaking down the exact mechanism to automatically catch those lost leads next time, but for right now, ask yourself, how many calls did you miss today?